Hello there and welcome to this GameMaker tutorial. In this tutorial we will be going to code the game instead of using drag and drop. So this is going to be pretty interesting since you're going to use the code in the future while you're developing your games. Doesn't that sound sweet? Also unlocks a whole lot of possibilities of what you can do. So let's just see what we have so far here. We have maze game here where you can collect points and you're not going to hit the enemy because then the points will respawn and then you'll have to go through the maze again. So let's see how we currently have it set up. Let's start with the player here. Going to the movement section here, we have if a position is free we're going to move, and same with the other directions here. Alright, so let's start by replacing the left key here with some code. So let's just delete what we have so far, go through the control pane here and select this thing. It's the code in GameMaker and it's this one you're going to use whenever you're going to execute a piece of code. So go ahead and use that one, you're going to use it a lot. So you'll get this pane up here, and as you remember before, let me just, as you can see here, just so we have it so we can look at it. At first we're going to check if a position is free. So basically in programming, if you want to check something, you write if. So you can check if something is true. And what you want to check is true needs to be written inside of these parentheses here. So we say if place is free, that's this function. And inside of it you can specify, you can see down here, you'll see what arguments you need to put in. You need to specify what X position is needs to check and which Y position needs to be checked. And currently the position we want to check is X, Y. And as you see, when we move left, we subtracted 4 from X because we wanted to move relative from our current position. So we say we want to check if the place X minus 4 is free. And if that's the case, we want to move X minus equals 4 so that we decrease the X value by 4. So that's basically the same thing as this one. Okay? So let's just see if that works. You see, it does exactly the same thing. So let's do it with the other keys too. If things got complicated, then you might have a chance to follow along now. Because instead of X minus 4, we go by X plus 4 when we go right. X, if you want to move right, you always increase the X, and if you want to move left, you decrease the X. Also, let's do it with up. That will be Y minus 4. And instead of X minus equals 4, we say Y minus equals 4. And the same thing with down here. You can say Y plus equals 4. And there we go, we have the thing working just as it was before. Alright, that was the movement. Now let's go ahead and do it with the coin here. So what do we do here? Let me just open up Notepad so we can just write down what we do before we start coding it. So what we do is we increase the score by 1. Then we destroy the instance. I think we destroy the coin that we're colliding with. And then we play a sound. Sound called send coin. Alright, let's go ahead and code that. So you'll just delete all of this, open up a code window here, and the first thing we need to do, let's just copy this in here so you can see it. By the way, if you have some comments that you want to insert in your code without it affecting it, you can do it by these things here. It will allow you to write text in here that won't be a part of the script. It's just a comment. It's called a comment. You can also, if you only do it with one line, you can do it by this and saying this is a single line comment. So that's the way that works. Okay, so first we increase the score by 1, and that's actually really simple. We just say score plus equals 1, increasing the score relative by 1. Then we need to destroy the coin that we're colliding with. In the code, the object we're colliding with is referred as other. So other, when you say other, you refer to the coin that we're colliding with. So if we want to destroy something, we say instance destroy. But what this does is it destroys the player. So if we want to destroy the coin that we're colliding with, we need to say with object coin, and then instance destroy. Then it will destroy the coin that it's colliding with. Instead of object coin, we'll say other, and it's destroying the coin that it collides with. Alright? So the final thing we need to do is to play a sound called SNCoin. So there's a function called audio play sound. There's also many other audio functions here. You can see them by typing audio and they will all pop up. So I'll say audio play sound. Sound ID. You can see here what we're going to put in. We're going to put in a sound ID. The sound ID will be SNCoin. And you see it gets a nice color here because GameMaker recognized that we have a sound called SNColor. I mean SNCoin, of course. The priority here is how, if you play many sounds at once, you want somehow make GameMaker able to prioritize the sounds that you play. But in our case, we only have one sound, so we'll just write 0. You can also write the lower the number is, the lower the priority of the sound will be. Alright, finally we have an argument called loops, and that is you can either write true or false here. If you write true, then the sound will play over and over again, and if you write false, it will just be played once. You'll write true if it's a soundtrack that's played in the background, and that's not a soundtrack played in the background. So, alright, let's see if this works. We take a coin and score increases, and we hear a nice sound. That's perfect. Okay. So, that was the coin. Let's see what else do we have here. We have the enemy. It needs to restart the current room and play a sound explosion. Alright. That should be done fairly easy. So, open up a script here. Let's say the enemy. We need to restart the room, and all functions that has to do with the room starts with room. Basically, anything that has to do with something starts with what it is. For example, if we want to do something with the sprite, we start with sprite. Sprite add, sprite assign, etc, etc. So that's basically the hint for it. So we say room, and if we want to restart the room, it's quite obvious that we need to say room restart. Alright? And then we want to play a sound. We play a sound before we restart the room, or else the sound will not be played. As you remember, to play a sound, we need to say audio play play sound. We need to specify the ID, and in this case, the ID is sound explosion with the priority 0, and it doesn't loop. And it should be the same thing with the other enemy. So let's just delete these and paste it again, so we have the same code in the two enemies. Let's see if that works. And it does. It acts like the same way as it did before. So when we touch the goal, we need to go to the next room, and that's actually quite simple because we need to insert some code that has to do with rooms. So we say room underscore go to underscore next. That's quite simple. Will take us to the next room. Let's see if that works. We just need to get to the goal without dying. Okay, so yes, it works. Alright, great. What else do we have here? We have the wall. You know, that's actually unnecessary. We can actually just delete that event, because when you move, we check if the place is free before we move, so it's the same thing. Alright, so now you've basically coded the game that you just made through drag and drop before. I hope it wasn't too confusing. If it was, then we'll quickly get you on track in the next tutorials. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoyed this video, be sure to click the subscribe button. Also visit my website if you want. There are lots of other good content there. So see you later. Thanks for watching.